Have you ever wanted to look like the greats of Naomi Campbell, Cindy Crawford, Christy Turlington, Linda Evangelista, Kate Moss, and Claudia Schiffer? Today I'm going to show you how to get that iconic 90s supermodel look. And I'll also be dropping some tips from some of the greatest makeup artists of the time on some common makeup mistakes to avoid. So if you're ready, go ahead and give the video a thumbs up and we can get right into the tutorial. So all of this is heavily inspired by The Art of Makeup by Kevyn Aucoin, my namesake, which is like the Bible for 90s makeup artistry. But first, we're gonna get into some skin prep. I've already put some Vaseline on my lips because they were super dry, and I've already cleansed my skin so it's super fresh, which is how we should be showing, and I've shaved because I have testosterone in my body. I'm showing up to the set with cleansed skin, with hydrated lips, and I'm gonna add some more hydration by putting some moisturizer on the skin. And as you know, I love moisturizing. Now, before we even get into it, the first makeup tip, stop smoking, stop drinking, stop eating unhealthy, greasy foods. You wonder why everything looks so crazy. You wonder why you feel so crazy, why your eyes are puffy, why everything feels like it's going wrong in your body. Yeah, girl, you're sitting there puffing on that puff bar 24/7, looking like Thomas the Train Engine. You're sitting there drinking, okay, throwing them back, talking to the Celsius girls too, the Alani girls too, the Monster girls too, yeah. You know why they call it Monster? Because you start to look like one after a while. What you put in your body is reflected through your skin. Drink water. Eat real foods that you can pronounce. Some of you are probably smarter than me and you can probably pronounce, you know, dioxycarbonate, DI, thyroid, philo, TV. You know, like you can probably do all that, but man, a vegetable never hurt, a fruit never hurt. You're watching my video, so obviously you like fruit. Okay, we have our skin prep on and I'm tired of ranting. The next step is going to be foundation. The 90s were all about fresh. You didn't want things to be heavy and you wanted a very diffuse, natural sculpt. They were all about the blend back in the 90s. Another mistake, as I'm putting on my hydrating primer, one of the more common mistakes is incorrect foundation choice. Now, if we look at some of these pictures of Naomi Campbell, if we look at some of these pictures of Miss Tyra Banks, they look crazy. Incorrect foundation choice all over the place. But what was always somewhat accurate, mostly accurate, was undertone choice. And on my channel, I've talked a lot about the importance of an undertone. Most of us, take this, you know, with a grain of salt, most of us lean to a more golden yellow coloring. So it's always on the safer side to go golden or yellow or even neutral when in doubt. But there are some of us out there who are pink. There are some of us out there who are red. There are definitely olive girlies out there. So don't think that yellow and golden undertones are just like the basis for everyone. I promise you, they're not. However, golden undertones are really easy to fix with like a neutral concealer, a pink concealer. You can go in with like a contour or a bronzer to kind of like balance it all out. A different blush color depending on the tone can really help you correct that foundation starting from the neutral or the slightly warmer base. If you're a warm girl and you're going in with cool foundation, a pink foundation, a really olive foundation, like you're just gonna look weird. My voice feels weird. Furthermore, our foundation, I'm going in with the Juvia's Place I Am Magic Matte Foundation in 130 Molly. Another big one is matching your foundation color and matching your foundation shade to your neck or your body or your arms rather than matching it to your face. Your face is like the most discolored part of your skin, and so matching anything to it is just gonna automatically have you out in these streets looking crazy. And then once you're matching it to your neck, also starting at the perimeter of your face and working your way in, once you're starting it at the neck, you can always blend it down into the neck to get more of a seamless blend. You don't want to be red by Tammy Brown, okay? You don't want to be having face one color and the neck is another color. No, we're not doing that. Those times are over. In the book, I believe they call it a tide line, which is a really interesting way to think of this because it's like the waters are washing and you can see where the beach starts and where the water ends. It's a really interesting way to think of makeup. Again, getting all up in that neck, all up on that ear, all up in that hairline. Super duper important. Really buffing it out. Can you guys hear somebody outside playing Megan Thee Stallion? They're watching that Heated Rivalry edit. I know that's right. Okay, let me tell you one thing though about blending into your ears. You will have that stuff in your ear for the rest of your life. Like, I'm still getting makeup out of my ear from like last week's video. So as you can see, I did very light coverage and I really focus on shearing out the foundation so it's not as heavy. I mean, obviously it's a full coverage foundation and I'm doing this for not for stage or runway, but for film. So it has to be a bit more exaggerated, but you know, hey. Now we're gonna go in with a little bit of concealer. And again, we don't need a triangle. You just need a little bit in the high points of your face. And also, the ones who know that I love mixing concealer colors, especially a brighter one on the inner corner, closer to the eye. I don't know, that just does something for me. Even a bit on the tip of the nose. Yeah, like that color blending, super duper pretty. Also, it is the 90s, so everyone was wearing crazy bright colors. I'm just gonna let this dry down for a little bit before blending it out. That's how you get maximal coverage. That's how you get maximal coverage out of your concealers. And while this is drying down, we'll talk about the next mistake, which is not adapting your makeup to your age and style. That is a really big one that I see. The same makeup that you're wearing right now at 16, 24, 36, however old we are, is not the same makeup that we can wear when we're 60, 65, heck, even 50. And it has very little to do with the aging process, because you can look great at any age. I've seen people look amazing at all ages. I've also seen people look horrible at all ages, but that's another conversation. If we put the vape down, you won't be like this. But so many things change over time. Beauty applies. The choices of colors that we wear, the choices of cuts that we wear, the choices of hair that we have, all of that has changed drastically over the past 40 years. So why would things be different going from 20 to 60? So as you hopefully do not have the same haircut that you had in the 80s, you should not be wearing the same makeup or be applying the same makeup techniques that you did when you were 20. You know, this is not vintage thrifting land, girl. Hey mama, welcome to the 60s. Whoa, Why are you down there? Why did you just go to the basement? This is also really funny for me to be saying this because I'm filming a video about the 90s and I'm doing this like 90s makeup recreation. Unless you're talking to your iPhone in front of a camera to strangers, don't be copying makeup techniques from yesteryear. Or if you're gonna do that, make sure that you're applying it and modernizing it. Ooh, and I love concealer because you can like get that nice snatch, really extending that cat eye. That's gonna make a really nice base for later. Also bringing some of that concealer down into the mustache area. Even if you don't got one, don't read me. I don't have one either. Bringing that concealer down into the mustache area will be super, super helpful for alleviating some of the darkness that can sometimes be around the mustache area on our mouths, especially for my dark skin divas. You know what I'm talking about. Yeah. Girl, I got to go. And complexion today? Listen, complexion is looking like fantabulous today. I don't know what was in the water. It's because I'm drinking water, okay? I'm serious about this. Like water, listen, it got me from like Katara from Avatar. It got me from like Omi from Shaolin Showdown. Water. Water is so important. If you only got a 64 ounce, I have very little to say to you. Just really taking my time, blending all this out. And then I'm gonna go in with my foundation brush to kind of meld all of the colors together. So they kind of look as if they're all coming from the same place and all emanating from the same skin tone. You see it? You see the blend? You see it. You see her. Look at the skin. Wow, that's really beautiful, fresh skin. Now it's time for brows as we enter our Supermodel documentary hour. That is a Superstar reference. Shout out to my millennials. Brows were usually done with pencils. Back in the day, we did not have pomade. I say we. I was born in 2001. I don't know what the heck I'm talking about. Brows were super, super thin. And also, a great segue into our next tip is not tweezing your eyebrow hairs or not shaving or not doing XOXO because you're afraid of your hair growing back thicker. Having a really nice clean base to do your makeup on is so important. So get rid of the peach fuzz. An alternate is always to bleach your hair, but I'm not bleaching my facial hair, and I don't recommend any of my dark skin divas bleach their facial hair. That's like that stuff. Don't be afraid of getting your eyebrows waxed, tweezed, whatever you do. I personally get mine threaded, and I only have to go every couple of weeks. Like I maybe go once a month, once every 6 weeks, if I'm being honest, if I like really want my brows to grow out. And I don't even think I'm gonna clean up my brows. Fill them in pretty sparsely and then lay down a shadow base. They look pretty good. And I'm gonna spoolie through, I'll blend them in, and I might go in with a brow gel. These are some good looking brows. Kind of wanna really get into it. While I'm getting really into these brows, I wanna talk about the top 5 supermodels. First of all, Naomi Campbell, Diva. She is my everything. She is like the one. So much confidence, such a presence on the runway. Like there literally is the one and only. There literally is only one Naomi Campbell, and there can only be one Naomi Campbell. Her beef with Tyra is something that always has perplexed me and really speaks to honestly the crabs in the bucket mentality that a lot of Black people deal with. You know, the Black diaspora, there's only oh so many seats at the table and I gotta make sure I get mine. If that means I gotta step on you, or every time I feel like I'm being threatened or my seat or my place is being threatened, I have to bring you down to my level, or I have to sabotage you in some way to ensure that I get what I feel I deserve. I just feel like that doesn't have to be a thing. Like, we don't have to live like that. We don't have to exist in that manner. Maybe it's 1991, okay? the world is different. Times have changed. And I would rather uplift and I would rather bring people together than to feel like I'm in competition. Because truly, the only person you're really in competition with is yourself, okay? When I think of Linda Evangelista, I think of, you're a model, you look like Linda Evangelista, that rant from Aja on season 9 of Drag Race. Because, first of all, iconic, literally iconic, but then also so real, you know? Like, how can I help the fact that I'm gorgeous? How can I help the fact that I'm beautiful? How can I help the fact that people want to compliment me on my smile? You know, that's something that's like not in my control. I can't help being pretty. I put the pants on and they're Gucci and I'm like, I can't control that. And this has been Supermodel Documentary Hour. Make sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss future ones. Alrighty, divas, we are back. I went ahead and set my under eye and baked it like they would in the 90s. And we're gonna go ahead and apply a nice eyeshadow base using the Revlon Prime and Lock, which is a bit of a different primer than I'm used to. It looks and goes on really light, but it's actually pretty colorless if I remember. But it also provides a nice tacky base. And let's just go in with our finger. I don't use my fingers enough, and fingers are so important in makeup application. I was actually talking to my coworker about this, who is like a white woman in her 60s, and I was like, girl, you gotta use your fingers, you know, when you're putting on the guiche. You gotta let the kids know these fingers do a lot. Ew. 90s makeup is known for using a lot of cool tone browns and just generally being in the world of cool makeup. So of course, that's what we're gonna be doing for today. And with that, we're gonna be using the Sultry palette from Anastasia Beverly Hills, which has a lot of really gorgeous cool tone shades. And as you can see, is a well-loved palette by me. I mean, Noor over here has been like panned. I've panned on Cyborg, which I plan on using today. I wanna get into some Slate today, and then some Dystopian. Obviously, these are colors I enjoy, but also a little bit of Twig. Twig can be fun. And then we can use Fresh on the brow bone, or maybe even Tea or Cinder. I don't know, we have colors, we have options. Really exciting and always a good place to be. So I'm gonna start off by taking a little bit of Slate, rolling that through the crease. Oh wait, that's actually kind of cool. Listen, I'm feeling like Jackie Aina. You wanna say that in English? I'm feeling like Jackie Aina. She be throwing on these colors and making them work, so hey, I can too. Listen, I am no different than her. Well, I guess a little different, but that's actually really pretty. Do you see it? I see the base. Wait, okay. Before we get into this, I actually want to put down a black base because we're gonna be smoking out and doing like a smoky wing. So I wanna have like a black liner base before we get into that. The focus of 90s makeup was never the eyes. A lot of it was skin based. So I don't wanna put a lot into the eye, even though we know I love giving a lot of attention to the eye. But right now I'm being a bit messier. Really giving this eye the attention deserves and nothing more. As y'all know, I will get carried away in a second. You see it? Ooh, I'm tight lining. That's rare. Okay, back to our regular scheduled eyeshadow. Going in with more Slate, really blending this into the crease. Really setting that nice cool tone base for the colors to kind of glide onto. We're gonna go in, deepen it with Dystopian, apply Cyborg, and then blend all of that out with a nice Noor smoky winged eyeshadow. You get the vision? Because I'm getting the vision. This is like kind of minimalist eye makeup for me. You guys know I never, like, I'm so structured. It almost like pains me to do makeup like this. Oh, this is really pretty actually. This is like Gorgine. Slate color on me, slay. Because I don't normally wear colors like this. Now we're gonna go in with a bit of Miss Dystopian. It's nice brown shade, and go in just a bit tighter, really patting that color on. Normalize dark people wearing cool toned eyeshadows. This is really cool. Like, for a long time, I've avoided cool toned eyeshadows because I thought, oh, that's not for dark. Like, that's just gonna make me look ashy. But really experimenting with these colors, really, really flattering actually. And of course, the quality is great. I mean, it's Anastasia. Okay, I'm starting to feel like the supermodel. I'm starting to feel like RuPaul, supermodel of the world. Like, y'all gonna have to come get me in a second. second. I'm gonna be storming the runway. And that brings us into our next makeup mistake. Timidity, fear, thinking that certain colors won't work for you, being afraid to make the bold choice, being afraid to just put on the freaking cosmetics. That is such a big makeup mistake. Being afraid to just wear it, being afraid to just put it on in the first place. That honestly should be mistake number one, because you really just gotta do it. You really just gotta do the dang thing. You really just gotta like make it work for you. And however that works for you is how that works for you. That was like such a nothing burger piece of advice. Be yourself, love yourself. Confidence is everything. Slay queen. But I hope you guys get like the message of just wear the makeup. I used to be a very timid and fearful individual. I used to care a lot about what people thought about me, about what people thought I was doing with my life. And over time, I've just learned, who cares? Who gives a crap? I'm on my own journey, and that's the way that it's gonna be for the rest of my, hopefully, decades on this planet. Now I'm gonna go in with Cyborg and put that right on the center of the lid. And obviously, I'm a big fan of Cyborg. Oh my gosh, that reminds me of Teen Titans, which obviously is goated show, best shows, animated series of all time. Not even animated series, one of the best series of all time, okay? No one's doing it like Teen Titans. And I'm not talking about Teen Titans Go. I'm gonna put a little bit of Cyborg in the inner corner. Actually, I don't know. Y'all decide with me. What color are we feeling on the, oh, that's really pretty. Wow, that's gorgeous. What color are we feeling like on the inner corner? Miss Cinder is super gorgeous. I feel like that clashes though. How about teak? No. Super pretty cool toned, like gold colors. But I feel like it's gonna have to be Pearl from season 7. Do you like Pearl? No, I don't even like Pearl. I like Pearl as a highlight shade maybe, like a brow bone. We can put Pearl as a brow bone and make that work. I don't know. Cyborg outsold, man. But this quad of dystopian, Cyborg, Slate, Noir, I would wear that like every day in the 90s. Those would be my go-to colors, hands down. As we're putting on this eyeshadow, I also want to mention another mistake is not blending. The art of makeup, the whole point of makeup, why makeup artists are so sought after and why they are held in such high acclaim is because of their ability to blend. And so if you're not able to blend, if you are afraid to blend out your makeup, if you're not willing to put in the time to blend out your makeup application is never gonna be good. You're never, oh, y'all gonna have to come pick me up off this floor. Y'all gonna have to come get me. Somebody come get her. You have to be willing to take your time and really blend out your colors. You have to be willing to layer colors. You have to be willing to not be afraid to put on the freaking cosmetics. That is just the biggest thing that I think I can put out there. Is a part of the blending process is going out there looking a hot boo-boo mess sometimes. Sometimes you gotta put yourself out there. Sometimes you gotta look crazy. Lord knows I have. Lord knows I will continue to do so. Because what you gain out of being seen, out of putting yourself out there is worth so much more than feeling like you're constantly in your comfort zone. Comfort zones are where things go to die. And if you're here to live, okay? We live on this channel. We get our lives. So next time you feel like your makeup is painting by numbers, realize that you are not Kathy from Dance Moms and put on some CoverGirl. Now I'm gonna take a smoky liner brush and just smoke out this upper lash line here into a wing. This is the only smoking we do, okay? We don't hit vapes, we don't do cigarettes, we don't do marbles, I don't even know how to say it. Okay, we smoke out our lash lines, ladies and gentlemen, but you're a lady too. You're a girl, you're bi. When I put on makeup, obviously I feel gorgeous, and obviously I am gorgeous when I put on my makeup, but oftentimes doesn't feel like supermodel gorgeous. Putting this on today, I feel supermodel gorgeous, which is obviously a pretty nice way to feel. Taking into more of dystopian, help blend this out, and then finally going over with a bit more Cyborg to add some shine and definition. And do we want to like spray some setting spray on Cyborg to really make it pop? Oh, we do. So we're gonna spray a little bit of setting spray, just add a bit more staying power to that color. Trust me, Mary. Ooh, Mary, see what happens when you trust me? See what happens when you trust me, Mary? Gorgine, gorge-tacular. Loving it, loving it. And that's an eye. This is an eye, okay? It looks lived in, it looks pretty, gorgeous. And just a little bit of brow highlighter, because I'm a nut. Taking a little bit of pearl right under that brow bone. Yes, honey, yeah. Now we're gonna take some powder and set the rest of our face, which actually leads into another tip that they discuss in the book. You always want to set your makeup before you go ahead with any of your powder products. Once you're happy with the blend of everything and where everything's placed and the color and all that, you just wanna go in with a light dusting of translucent powder and kind of set everything in place. And we're doing it real 90s, okay? This is like real translucent, loose powder. Translucent, you know, not really being the color for people of my complexion, but hey, we're staying true to what it was. Wiping away that bake, brushing away all that under eye stuff. Looking slightly casket ready, but still super gorgeous. Like actually really gorgeous. Wait a minute. Wait a minute, because she's like really pretty. And in person, it looks even better. I'm sure I look fine on camera, but in person, it's like really working. It's like really popping. Now that we're set, we can go in with a nice bronzer, some contour. Sculpted cheeks are going to be the biggest thing right now. Contouring was all the rage in the 90s. Okay, it was so important to have that hollowed out cheek. So what I like to do is I like to start from the top of my ear, brush it down, and like flick it, and that'll give you the exact placement of your contour. But having a really nice, sharp, carved cheek was super, super important and a really big part of the 90s makeup. Not a lot of bronzer, not a lot of blush, honestly, not a lot of color on the face, but definitely a lot of definition. Definition was incredibly important. And I don't really have to go too crazy with the contour because I'm someone who like has pretty defined cheekbones, but I can even drag it up here with the temples. That was a technique they often did. Just want to look as snatched as possible, like you're being pulled back in so many directions. This is also when they started doing the face tapes to kind of like, I would get taped here, which would really pull things back, and then I'll also get taped here, which will help pull things back, and I'll even here. We can contour the jaw. We like never contour the jaw. Being right up in that jaw, really defining it, really filling our Model T's today. And then we can even go in with some nose contour. All of these styles and all of these tips are things that I'm getting from, makeup legends like Bobbi Brown, McGrath, Kevyn Aucoin, Sam Fine, all of these makeup superstars who were super, super in their prime during the 90s. And again, everything I'm using is like super duper matte because that was the look of the time. Wow. Wow, you look really good. As I mentioned, blush was not a very big thing at the time, but I am going to go in with some of these cooler tone blushes. Like this one right here is really speaking to me, and just place that right on top of that contour to add just the tiniest bit of color to the face. And then we'll go ahead and carve the cheeks, which will also add a really nice layer of dimension. Which brings me into the next mistake, is using the wrong tones. One thing I want everyone to avoid is fruit basket makeup, okay? You don't want a pink lip and then your contour or bronzer is like purple and then your blush is orange, and it's just like, it gets wild really, really fast. So avoid, as if you're gonna have a color story. If you're gonna have certain tones in the makeup, make sure that it's a uniform tone versus all of the colors of the rainbow. And if you're gonna do colors of the rainbow, do it masterfully. Make sure you're really being precise and deliberate about what and how you're using your colors. Because there are ways to make it happen. There are ways to do it. You just have to be, again, deliberate about it. But that blush is super duper pretty. Now we get to go into possibly the most iconic part of the 90s, which is the lip. When it comes to lips, they use a lot of browns and nude shades, and even a red was kind of a common color of the time. Which brings me into our next mistake, which is using super duper bright colors. Now, there is nothing wrong with bright colors. I am color heavy, so obviously I advocate for the use of colors in makeup. However, bright colors, especially on the lips, can sometimes look as if they sit on the skin rather than being a part of the natural skin story. So if you did like a bright pale, especially for the dark girls and the dark guys and the dark everyone's, if you went in with a super duper bright color, it would be very jarring. However, going in with a dark lip liner, going in with the correct tones, going in and blending those tones together, that is how you wear bright colors. That's how you make them work. But also being cognizant of when it's appropriate to pull out the bright color and when it's not necessarily the time. I can't believe I just did that whole lip like while talking. Now I really want to go in with this Creme Chocoholic lip color. Super duper gorgeous. That's so pretty and vampy on me. But of course, you know we gotta amp it up. Gonna go in with this terracotta shade in the middle. That's pretty, but I feel like I can do more. I kind of want to go in with a concealer color. This is how you do concealer lips, okay? If we're gonna go 90s, this is how you do a concealer lip. Going in with a concealer color on the middle of the lip, just to add a bit more, I don't know, something. And today, we cannot go in with gloss because it is the 90s and everything was matte or satin. Ooh, yeah, that's what it needed. That's a lip. I'm ready for my close-up. All right, now we're gonna get into some final touches and another makeup mistake, which is not curling your lashes. Curling your lashes help to open up the eyes before you apply mascara. And if you don't curl your lashes before you apply the mascara often can have the opposite effect of closing down your eyelashes and bringing more darkness rather than opening them up, especially if you want that falsie effect. And now, before you apply mascara, you always want to do your setting spray first because your lashes will get wet and then they'll run and you'll look crazy. And Lord knows the skin then needed some hydration. Okay, who's ready for mascara? I'll go ahead and apply mascara, do my lower lash line, and some finishing touches off screen, and then I'll come back to you all with the final look. All right, I ended up putting a bit of a half lash on because I needed the drama and I needed the effect. But as you can see, I don't know why my hands automatically go here, hands on the face. But as you can see, this is the final look, and I truly do feel like a 90s supermodel. I feel like I'm ready to perform with Steven Meisel. I feel like I've been painted by Kevyn Aucoin. I feel like I'm about to get out of bed for $100,000, okay? Totally encourage all of you to take some of these tips and take some of these applications and take some of these techniques and really put them into your makeup routine. Customize it your way, make it your thing, make it special to you, because ultimately makeup is about self-expression. Now, if you don't excuse me, I am running late for a plane ride to Prague. I have a photo shoot for the cover of Vogue, so I will have to see you guys later. But if you enjoyed the video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, watch one of my other videos, and if no one else has told you this today, I believe in you, and I know that your dreams are gonna come true.